First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WFT News. I'm Chris Will.
And I'm Elena Barrera. Thanks for joining us. The Gainesville City Commission has been going back and forth on one topic for many months: zoning ordinances.
WFT's Jensen Young joins us with more on the story following last night's meeting. Jensen?
Thanks, Elena. Chris, this has been a point of contention with the Gainesville City Commission and the public since August, when the commissioners first voted in favor of passing ordinances eliminating exclusionary zoning in Gainesville. In October, the Gainesville City Commission voted in favor of passing it once again. This allowed for the development of multifamily homes throughout the city. The majority of the public comment at these two meetings were against the ordinances, but it still passed. Last night, the new commission voted 4-3 in favor of new ordinances that undo those passed in October, essentially wiping the slate clean after almost exactly 6 months. Commissioner Raina Sacco was in favor of the multifamily zoning, while Commissioner Cynthia Chestnut was in favor of undoing the previous commission's ordinances. Here's what they had to say during last night's meeting.
So we are making it harder for our community, not just to find housing, to own housing, which again, on this dais, I have heard as something that is a priority.
We listen to the people and we know what they're saying, and that is what we are doing. Thank you.
For more information on the effects of the newly passed ordinances, as well as additional statements from the commissioners and the public, visit our website at wuft.org. Elena, Chris, back to you.
Thank you, Jensen. If you were asleep at around 4:30, 5 o'clock last night, you may have been woken up by an emergency alert on your cell phone. The Florida Department of Emergency Management sent out a test alert around 4:45 this morning. The department tweeted that it was in fact a mistake. The alert was meant to be on TVs at that time and not meant to wake people up on their phones. Governor DeSantis says the state will look into this, quote, inappropriate use of the system. An FDEM statement says partner company Everbridge sent the wrong details for the alert, which resulted in early warning wake-up calls. Now, it's important to remember that even though incidents like yesterday, we love our sleep, but emergencies are meant to keep us safe, especially in situations like severe weather.
And on sunny days like today, WUFT's Daniella Rudolph is here to tell us what to expect. Danny, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Well, if you know me, then you know that I do love my emergency alerts. So although it's a little bit of an inconvenience, I really am glad that they are testing these things. But let's take a look at what's happening in the world of weather right here in Gainesville, because we don't have actually any severe weather alerts from that alert that they issued this morning. Right now, 83 degrees, looking like a beautiful day. We are having that sunshine, that summertime feel. I know that I'm really excited for the weekend, but we are going to have some weather that's impacting those weekend plans. So definitely do stay with me to see where and when you're going to be impacted. Let's take a look at those temperatures right now. In Gainesville, 85, around 85 to 87 degrees across the board, a warm evening. Take a look at those evening lows. In Gainesville, 57, a chance of rain for this evening, but I wouldn't really take it as anything too serious as of right now. I'm not going to pack an umbrella if I'm going out this evening because it's looking like a lovely one, but that's all I have for now. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Daniela. Those facing the death penalty no longer need a unanimous verdict to be executed. Today, Governor DeSantis signed a bill to allow death sentences by a jury vote of 8-4 or higher. He again cited the Parkland massacre, where the foreman said there was a single hard no curbing debate, and the vote went 9-3. Two recent executions fell under the rules before a unanimous vote was put into law. They were both 8-4. At next month's scheduled execution, the initial jury vote was 9-3, but after a later retrial was 12-0.
Two suspects are in custody after an intense high-speed police chase that ended in Broward County. WTVJ's Nico Clemens shows us an overhead video and provides play-by-play commentary of how it went down.
A chase spanning several counties. Broward Sheriff's deputies got reports of a stolen white Lexus out of North Miami, speeding through Broward County on Florida's Turnpike. They say the two suspects went northbound on the Turnpike into Boca Raton and eventually ended up back in Broward County. Deputies say getting on Commercial Boulevard, one of the men tried to carjack another car, but was unsuccessful. Shortly after, one of the suspects, armed with a long gun, carjacked a Tesla, but they didn't get far. Only one suspect makes it inside that stolen Tesla. The other tries to get in, but fails, running off and getting arrested. The Tesla driver crashes into a law enforcement truck on Commercial Boulevard near Rock Island Road. He runs out, jumps a fence, swims across a canal and into a neighborhood, where he got inside a home on Northwest 54th Street. The people inside that home got out safely. Police swarmed the house, and that second suspect eventually came out only wearing underwear.
Thankfully, no one driving in this area and no one inside the home were hurt. No one was hurt either in robbery as well. The westbound and eastbound lanes of Commercial Boulevard between the Turnpike and Rock Island Road were shut down due to the incident. And in Plant City, police are searching for a highway shooter after a woman died and a man was injured in a road rage incident on I-4. Plant City police say around 9:12 Tuesday night, the male victim noticed a car driving recklessly and displaying some signs of road rage. Investigators say the driver of a Toyota Prius fired shots, hitting the male and female victims. The injured man drove to a fire station for help. He arrived at the hospital in critical condition, and the woman died from her injuries. The Plant City Police Department is investigating the shooting as a homicide. A Florida bill that bans children from certain drag performances passed the state legislature. Venues for people who don't comply could face criminal penalties.
WOT's Hope Dean spoke with members of the local drag community who say it worries them. Hope?
Chris, Elena, some say it could disrupt or even cancel daytime drag events. I asked local drag performer Starshine about the bill's potential effects on the drag community.
My name is Starshine, aka the Lady Grinning Soul. It's my full title. I am a drag performer here in Gainesville, Florida. I am a former Miss Ocala Pride. I am a former Miss University Drag Race winner, and I'm a former Miss Wizard of Oz. What does drag mean to me? Drag is art. Drag is theater. Drag is drama. Drag is fun. Drag is expression. Drag is freedom. I do not believe drag is dangerous for children. I think that we are in a current day satanic panic when it comes to the misinformation. It's easy to spread misinformation and fear instead of taking the time to research exactly what drag is. I don't think that we should be taking kids into bars to see a drag show. I don't think we should be taking kids to see adult entertainment, because there is such a thing as adult entertainment. But if it's a family-friendly drag event that is PG to G, the costuming is appropriate, with nothing being seen or shown or no chance of any mistakes being seen or made. The songs are appropriate for families. I don't see a problem with that. We have a tremendously talented community here in Gainesville. We have a large drag community. It seems like every year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because we're a college town and we have a lot of new people coming in. We have kids that are coming in that weren't allowed to do drag in their cities, or they didn't have access to drag, and now they're able to do it. I don't ever see it going away. I think it will find a way to survive.
The bill now awaits a signature from Governor Ron DeSantis. If signed, it will be enacted statewide. Chris?
After it denounced the parental rights and education law last year, Disney is battling to keep control over its land. The governor's handpicked tourism oversight board is asserting it has superior power to the last-minute deals between Disney and the old Reedy Creek Improvement Board. West 2's Marley Martinez brings us the latest in the battle between Disney and DeSantis.
Motion passes unanimously.
On Wednesday, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District voted to give itself superior authority over Disney to make decisions on planning and development issues in Lake Buena Vista and Bay Lake.
No corporation, no organization, no individual has a right to have special privileges. We are looking forward to balancing the scales.
The 5 members on Governor Ron DeSantis' hand-picked board voted unanimously to approve Resolution 639, and they set April 26 as a second reading and public hearing. One man from Celebration says people who live around here are paying attention.
Residents are starting to grow concerned as the governor continues to put forward ideas that this new board might pursue that can also affect the well-being of Celebration.
He says residents are worried toll roads could be coming, or even a state prison.
Residents are concerned we will become innocent bystanders in these actions. The people of Celebration would like to respectfully remind the board that our town is completely surrounded by district lands, and to consider how these decisions have the ability to impact our town and the people that live there.
The new board chair says he wants Disney to pay more in property taxes, debt service, and a commitment to affordable housing. Elena?
And while the fight with Disney continues, here in Florida, a quest for history took place in Texas.
Well, Elena, you know what they say, everything's always bigger in Texas, and that's exactly what SpaceX went for as they attempted to launch the most powerful rocket ever. We'll get you the sights and sounds from the historic moment when First at 5 returns. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The SpaceX launch of the most powerful rocket ever built successfully lifted off, but met a premature conclusion. Take a look.
Was icing on the cake. And there, as you saw, as we promised, an exciting end to the Starship.
Minutes after this morning's launch, the rocket experienced what SpaceX is calling a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. At SpaceX headquarters, loud cheers went up in the mere fact that the rocket successfully got off the launch pad. This was the second launch attempt, though. Monday's try was scrapped due to issues from a frozen pressure valve. If all had gone according to plan, the booster would have splashed down into the Gulf of Mexico while the spacecraft made it to orbit before crashing into the Pacific Ocean. No people or satellites were on board, and there's no word yet what caused the failure.
Brightline unveils its new station at Orlando International Airport. The high-speed passenger rail company announced tickets for trips out of the Orlando airport will go on sale in May. The plan is for a series of hourly departures to Miami starting in summer. One-way tickets will start at $79, and there will be bundles for a family of 4 to travel one way for less than $200. Non-stop train service should take just 3 hours, but the regular service will take at least another half hour, with stops at West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, and Aventura. Some Florida farmers are facing physical limitations are about to get some relief.
That's right. WFT's Ashley Weinstein spoke with people involved in the fundraiser benefiting Florida Agribility.
Farming can be strenuous. Florida heat does not make matters easier, but heat is not the only battle Florida farmers face. When farmers are disabled, they have no choice but to continue working for food and income. The amazing Give Charity event seeks to help farmers like Micah.
I have a disease called ankylosing spondylitis. And really, essentially, what that means is that your spine fuses. So normally, your spine has the ability to bend. Well, what happens with ankylosing spondylitis is that it becomes rigid and you lose the ability to bend forward.
Micah's main source of income is beekeeping. She needs tools to help her lift 60-pound boxes.
I've worked all season, gone in the boxes, made sure the bees were fine, all the hives are healthy, and then to not be able to do the main portion, which is transport all of those boxes of honey, is a problem.
This year, the Gainesville-based Center for Independent Living of North Central Florida will be raising funds for the Florida Agribility Project. The fundraiser will run from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The goal is $10,000. The program aims to help as many farmers as possible. A UF professor who works with the fundraiser says farming is one of the only industries where people 65 plus still have to work.
For me, it's just helping them. The farming is so meaningful for everybody, and maybe in agriculture, farmers is the only occupation people, they don't get retired.
The fundraiser will help farmers with overcoming disability-related limitations. Assistance includes assistive technologies, modified work practices, and more. Ashley Weinstein, WUFT News.
13 years ago, the Deepwater Horizon oil leak threatened the coastal environment from Louisiana to Florida. 11 workers died and 17 more suffered injuries when the Deepwater oil rig exploded. By the time the well was capped, scientists estimated around 4 million barrels of oil leaked into the Gulf. This brings us back to Daniella. Incidents like this spill have horrific impacts on our environment. And of course, we've seen severe weather all across the country these past few days. What can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's exactly right, Chris. Hundreds of thousands of families are picking up the pieces after a string of overnight storms that targeted the middle of the country. As NBC's Jay Gray tells us, the worst of the damage was in Oklahoma, where at least 3 people were killed.
Debris stretches for miles, neighborhoods left in ruins, every building on the campus of Oklahoma Baptist University damaged during overnight storms.
Last night, OBU campus experienced the worst natural disaster in its 113-year history.
Oh, that's a tornado.
A string of as many as 8 tornadoes ripping across Oklahoma. The storms killing 3, 2 of those victims in Cole, the small town on the outskirts of Oklahoma City.
Complete chaos. You know, we walked outside, trees everywhere. There's metal everywhere. Just everything's, just destroyed.
Power lines and trees pulled down as the system pushed across Iowa and Kansas as well. A day later, the extent of the damage still unclear.
These rural areas are spread out on dirt roads, on gravel roads, and it makes searching very tedious, meaning we have to go from place to place and walk up driveways and things like that to search these areas.
A process that will take days, while the cleanup and recovery for those hardest hit will take much longer. Jay Gray, NBC News.
As you can see behind me, we have been tracking over the past 24 hours the storms that have been happening in Oklahoma. Now, as you heard the man in the package say, that this is the worst that they've seen over 130 years. So I think a lot of us need to just take a moment and honestly understand that, these things, they can happen to us. I know a lot of us are like, severe weather, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not really going to happen to me. But as we can see, this does happen. So having a plan in place, having a place to go, a place where you will be safe, and those that need your assistance, your family, your loved one, your friends, making sure that we're all in this together, because honestly, that's the only way that we are going to get through it. But coming back to a little more local, after the break, we're going to be focusing on this low pressure system that is moving with a cold front and see what precipitation band that it's bringing here to north central Florida and the rest of the nation. So definitely do stay with us to see how you can keep yourself safe after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
So if you've been staying with us throughout this broadcast, you would have seen that we have a low pressure system moving over. But if you didn't catch it, don't worry, I got you covered. Let's take a look at it right now, actually. Right now, we can see this band of precipitation moving over Dallas, and it is going to be heading towards north central Florida a little later in the week. As you can see here, this low pressure system. Now, a good way to remember the difference between a high pressure system and a low pressure system is high in the sky. When we have those high pressure systems, it gives us beautiful clear skies, no weather. When we have a low pressure system, this is where the severe weather comes in with rain, thunderstorms, and tornadoes. So we have this cold pressure system that is going to be moving in, bringing precipitation and a little bit drop in temperatures later on in the week. So definitely stay with me to see how that's going to affect you. But take a look at what it's doing to temperatures right now. We are relatively warm across the board. Of course, 73 here in Oklahoma City, where we have been seeing and tracking that severe weather. So do stay with us for coverage on that. You can always get your news here at WFT.org. Taking a look at the future radar for tomorrow, those thunderstorms are coming in. It looks like a really pretty morning. However, it's going to get cut a little short around the lunchtime hour with that band of precipitation moving up and over Gainesville. It is only going to last till around the dinner hour, so you'll be in the clear if you are headed out for your Friday night. If you are headed to campus tomorrow morning, let's take a look at what's happening in the morning commute. 60 degrees, a little crisp of a start of a day, but it's warming up almost to 90 by the end of the day. We will have some areas of patchy fog in the morning, so if you are headed out, please make sure that you do keep that in mind, because it will drop some visibility if you are traveling. Again, that campus cam coming back to campus. Take a look at our weather right now. 83, no clouds in the sky. It's going to be a lovely one for the remainder of this evening until that thunderstorm is going to kick in tomorrow. But take a look at our hour by hour for the remainder of the evening. Right now, around 84 degrees. We are dropping, as I said, into that crisp 59 degrees, but it is going to be a lovely evening to head out. Take a look at those overnight lows. 56 in Gainesville, 56 in Alachua, 58 in Ocala, but across the board around 56 to 59 degrees for each town. If you are headed out tomorrow morning to drop the kids, let's take a look what's happening with our bus stop outlook. In the morning, I said it is going to be a crisp 60 degrees, so you might want to send the little ones out with the jacket on the way out, on the way to school, but it is going to be warmer in the afternoon, so definitely make sure that you pack them an extra bottle of water so they can stay hydrated throughout the day. Jumping to that 6-day outlook, here you can see where that cold front is coming in, not really dropping temperatures too much, only to 83 on Monday, but there you can see on Wednesday, the temperatures are heading back up, but we are having 40% chance of those thunderstorms. So they are coming in with that low pressure system and that cold front that we have been seeing across the nation. But that's all from me. From the world of weather, back to the desk, and definitely do stay with us.
Thanks, Daniella. Florida baseball is set to begin a 3-game series tonight against a top 10 opponent.
For more, we are joined now by WFT's Bradley Shimel. Bradley, do they have a chance?
Well, they're the number 3 team in the country for a reason, so I'd say they have a good chance. But they're getting ready to face the number 6 team in the country tonight, South Carolina. I'll be talking all about it and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Bradley Shimel. Florida baseball has a top 10 matchup tonight against South Carolina. The number 3 ranked Gators will travel to Columbia tonight to take on the number 6 Gamecocks in the first of a 3-game series. Florida will face South Carolina in Columbia for the first time since 2021, and they hold a 16-8 record all-time against the Gamecocks under head coach Kevin O'Sullivan. Florida ace Brandon Sproat is expected to get the nod for tonight's primetime matchup. First pitch is scheduled for 7:30. And speaking of primetime matchups, Florida softball was able to come back last night and win against USF. The number 13 ranked Gators were in control until the Bulls tied things up in the 4th with this 2-run blast. The score remained 3-3 until a hero by the name of Emily Wilkie stepped up and crushed a walk-off grand slam. Florida took home the win by a score of 7-3. They'll go for another win this Saturday against Tennessee. The NFL draft is only 1 week away, and it's not much of a question that Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson will be a first-round pick. But the real question is, who will draft Richardson? Let's take a look at the current odds according to FanDuel. As of now, the Tennessee Titans are the favorite to draft Richardson. They currently hold the number 11 pick, but don't be surprised if they make a move to get their quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts are the next likely team, followed by the Las Vegas Raiders, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Minnesota Vikings. Could be an interesting situation there to have Richardson sitting behind Kirk Cousins. We finally reached that point of the year where the Florida men's tennis team begins tournament play as they journey towards another national championship. The number 8 seeded Gators are currently taking on the number 9 seeded Auburn Tigers in the first round of the SEC tournament. Florida and Auburn have met twice before in the SEC tournament with 1 win and 1 loss for each side. Auburn enters the tournament on a 3-match losing streak, and Florida is the only team in the SEC and one of 4 teams in the nation to boast 2 top 20 ranked doubles pairs. With a win, Florida will be back in action tomorrow afternoon in the SEC semifinals. That's about it for sports, but our co-anchor Misty made it onto Barstool Sports.
I can't tell if I'm excited or scared to watch this.
I really have to see it. Let's play it.
What colleges do you ladies go to? We go to the University of Florida. What are taxes? Taxes are, you know what?
That's too much. Well, in her defense, Jacob did really do her dirty there, but she could have just said she's from FSU, and that probably would have worked, right?
I wish I didn't know what taxes were. But before we go, Daniella, give us one last look at the weather.
Take a look at that campus cam. Beautiful skies, sunny skies. Is going to be a lovely one if you are headed out this Thursday evening, kicking off those weekend plans. Let's take one final look at our 6-day outlook. Earlier in the forecast, if you were with us, we mentioned that we have this low pressure system followed by a cold front moving in, which is why we're dropping temperatures on Monday. Not too much of a drop though, only to 83, but going back up to 85 for the remainder of the week with those thunderstorms coming on Wednesday. But that's all for me. Back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Daniella. That's all for our show, folks.
Good night.